There we go. 1, 2, 3.
Hi guys, welcome to Getting to Know Me and Maria at the Happy Healing Shop. Today's video is sponsored by no one. Okay, so what happens is I actually saw this on Instagram or maybe YouTube, but it's a kind of like a board game or more like a card game. It's called Workers Edition. It's by the company Skin Deep, and they have just some really I guess deeper, insightful questions that you can ask each other. And I picked out a few good ones. So learn more about me and Maria and the values that we hold and what we really believe in at the Happy Healing Shop.
Really fun.
So how do you describe to others what we do at the Happy Healing Shop?
All right, so this is a good question. We offer a lot of different things at the Happy Healing Shop. One of our big focuses is actually about providing, or mostly facilitating healing within other people, because Trang and I are both healers, and we both are Reiki masters, and that kind of energy drives everything we do, including the psychic stuff and mediumship. And truly, those to us are modalities we can use to facilitate healing within other people in the best ways that they need it. So for us, for example, mediumship isn't just bringing through people who have passed on. It's about how can we heal this relationship with the person that passed on. So we put that in everything we do. And truly, as healers, we're not the ones healing you. We're simply there to facilitate. And so that's kind of embedded within everything we do. And so I'd say that is the main essence. And then I would say education. We love teaching. That's really a big passion of ours. We love teaching and empowering. So through all these tools I just mentioned and modalities and philosophies, this is how we hope that you can find empowerment in your own life, and maybe you can spread that to others. Yeah, so that's pretty much how I would sum it up. Anything you would add, Trangy?
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
okay. What was your first impression of me that you never told me? Or I guess your first impression of me in general.
So that's a really good question. Actually, we met at work at like a very corporate job, and I remember my first impression of her because was based off of an email she sent me, because she was corresponding for her boss to bring me on her team. And I remember even just in the email, I just sensed that she was a very like sweet, happy, like very cheerful and warm and welcoming person. And then I saw her little tiny profile picture in the email, like a little bubble, and I was like, look at how bright she is. She just feels like a bright light. And I was like, wow, she's so nice. I can't wait to meet her. That was my first impression of Trang. And then my second first impression, like once I actually met her in person, was like, wow, she is so efficient. Like, how did she do that? And then just like, I really felt a connection actually with Trang right away.
So my first impression of you, I did not know you were a psychic medium. And she was just a, what do you call it? Like a contract or a temp brought on because someone went on maternity leave. And I didn't know that she was coming in for an interview. I thought she was actually a vendor. So, because she didn't look lost in, but that's how you tell. Like, usually when someone's new, they kind of look lost because it's hard to get to the area where I am. And so I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, just sit down and I'll be right with you and blah, blah, blah. So-and-so's still in a meeting right now or something like that. So, but I think when you sat behind me when you joined the team, and you were just, what I feel like you were quiet, but I feel like you were very like respectful as an employee, if that makes any sense. Like most people, this is weird, like not weird, but most people, they would just like stand up and like, hey Trang, and yell from the cubicle. But she would actually be one of the few people that would get up, walk to my desk, and actually be like, hey Trang, I have a question, you know? So that's what I mean by just like very considerate, very, I don't want to say like treats people like a human, but just more like a considerate and more like respectful in that sense. And I could tell in the kitchen you were really nice because you would listen to people when they talk to you, like you know when they do small chat. And I'm usually more of like in my head like, how do I get out of this sometimes? And Maria would just be like, oh yeah, and she would just really listen. I'm like, man, she has a lot more patience than I do, but in like a really, you know, therapeutic way, as I'm sure everyone sees you that way.
Oh, thank you.
What do you think our 3 most strongly held values are?
I would say a heavy part of our 3 top values is really about our ethics and the way that we view the people who are entrusting us with sometimes some of the most vulnerable moments of their lives. So I would say honesty, total like kindness, and I guess I would kind of add on kindness and empathy, and then integrity is a huge part of it. So because if we don't have integrity as practitioners, then we can end up hurting the people that we are trying to guide rather than helping them. What would be your top 3, Trang?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And we talked about this once, about integrity. And there's a lot that falls under that umbrella. Because I just, was thinking one day, I was like, oh, you know what? When Happy Healing Shop grows even bigger, what should our core values be? You know how they always put in that employee handbook that no one ever looks on, like page 5 or whatever, and half the time the company doesn't even follow it. So yeah, and I think I already wrote my whole list because I was like, oh, and I had a whole like list of like 10 to 15 of them, and I was like, I guess I never spoke with Maria about this, and I was like, hey Maria, what do you think? We were just like texting back and forth, and we wound up pleasantly having the same core values. And I think the biggest one is, well, I asked her like, what do you see like for as a whole company for us? And we said integrity, because underneath it is like honesty and like doing the right thing, even when everyone else is criticizing you, or just like having morals, and also treating our future employees, whenever we have a whole team, the right way. Like even if just treat them as humans. Sometimes I think that's forgotten a lot, and people are just so focused on short-term like money gains and everything. But at the same time, you're like, these are lives that you're holding in your hands as well. Like just because they're employees doesn't mean you have to treat them like crap. We came from really abusive environments, and so we're like, you know what? We could either go the direction where we're like, well, we had to go through it, so when we're leaders, everyone has to go through that tough route just to have tough skin, Or you could go the other way, which we don't unfortunately see, and it's more so of like, you know what? We had such a terrible experience, and we're gonna make a place where people don't feel like they have to come to work dreading coming to work. They don't have to roll out of bed dreading the Mondays and whatnot. They actually enjoy the work environment. They enjoy the management. They enjoy like being with their coworkers because it's a really healthy, supportive environment. So, okay, that was a really long tangent, but still, it's really important. Yeah. And then also when we expand, and let's say we work with other vendors or like other sources in other countries, we want to be able to treat them right too, and not exploit them, fair trade, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like all that falls under, at least for me, like under integrity. Well, I think also another thing you liked is innovation.
Yeah, there's only 3. I was like, oh, there's so many more.
I know, innovation, because like, obviously like our branding and our style, and also just always developing like new technologies that have to go with the metaphysical world, exploring that. And it says list 3, but I feel like we listed one big umbrella.
We ended up with like a massive list of like things we really, really care about, that a lot of them come into similar categories, but all of them I would say come from a basis of kindness and integrity, but branch out into how do you apply those into other aspects of being an entity that works with others. So I love that you mentioned those other ones, because this is kind of like a canned question that you hear a lot, and then you'll hear like these corporate companies who treat their employees like crap say, oh yes, it's all about integrity and performance and whatever other like stupid thing, and they put it in like a pyramid on like a poster, and then you're like, you guys don't follow that at all. And meanwhile, like everyone hates their lives. Like, so we actually care deeply about what comes out of our mouths and like what we say we're doing, because we actually deeply feel that. So that's something I'm glad you mentioned that. Thanks.
All right, list our team members, aka Maria and Trang, and their corresponding spirit animal. Okay, for you, I'm trying to think of it. I'm like, what is something that's like seems very wise, put together, and classy? And I was like, is that like an owl, or are you sorry, something? I'm thinking of Hedwig from Harry Potter. No, but yeah, something like, like that. I'm trying to think of an animal that's kind of like that, like but chill, but also just has. So I'm thinking wise, but maybe an owl. Is that what the symbolism of an owl is? But something like that.
It's pretty flattering.
It's
a flattering symbol.
I was thinking like an eagle or something, but they're more like that'd be more aggressive energy, though.
Someone, so. Eagles are just like predators.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when I think of Trang, there's so many animals that come to mind. I think I would need to have several animals together. I would think of a ferret, because ferrets are really fun. They're full of energy. They're a little wacky sometimes, but that's not the part I'm talking about. They're so flexible. Their bodies are flexible. They can like squeeze through things, and they're able to just move so fluidly. It's almost unreal. And then I would also say, so I'd say because she's super dynamic and she can get through like the most impossible situations with such like finesse. And also she has this like fun, quirky personality. Like I remember one time she was walking down the sidewalk and I didn't know it was her because there's all these misters going, and we were meeting up in front of a meditation place. And so it was like a cloud of misters and all I could see were shadows behind it. And I see this silhouette walking like this.
Is that how I walk?
Yeah, and her little keychain's like swinging. And I was like, there's Trang. Couldn't see her at all, just a silhouette. And I could just tell by her energy, the way she, like, is she just so sprightly and like, just so like positive. And I was like, there's Trang. She's also really fun and playful. But then I would also say a doggy in the best way possible, because she's loyal. She's full of love. She's like knows when something is wrong, and like, she always like, she knows how to make things better. She's helped me and so many other people through such tough times with such compassion and grace. And she just has this very snuggly, like warm energy, and she knows how to like make people happy and bring them together. So I'd say a combination of those two. Yeah. Yeah, you light up so many people's lives. So.
And then a shout out to our video editor, Yazzie. I think her spirit animal would be a wallaby. And those are like the little baby, like shorter, smaller, like kangaroo looking things, because she has like lots of energy. So it's kind of like bouncing, just has like that vibe.
She's fun, she's energetic, she's hilarious.
Very funny, very easy to go, easy to get along with and everything. Really, she's like that coworker that everyone gets along with. You know how sometimes you always have like, oh, I don't like that person or whatever, or that's, but everyone just seems to like vibe well with her. So thanks to Yazzie for editing this awesome video. It would have taken us forever to do, but thank you. Do your best impression of me.
Oh, I have some good ones. So first of all, Trang and I have this running joke about, because of her energy and the way she like comes into people's lives and like is so sprightly. Yeah. Like, so we've come up with this like, hi, I'm Trang. Like that's like her little like thing, her little, like a little jokey impression. But actually what I would base it off, or like we love to send each other audios, because we like, instead of texting, we just like ramble on and like talk about our days and stuff, and it's really fun. And so usually when I get an audio from her, it's like, oh, hi Maria. So I just want to let you know that I did this and I did this and I did this. And also, like, she's like so organized, but like so happy. And she's like, and I did this. And oh, and don't forget to do this, by the way. And this is just another little reminder. You should make sure to do this. And then, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because we have this. And it's going to be so good. Oh my God. And then... okay, well that's it. Okay, I'll talk to you later. And it makes me so happy because she's such an awesome person. And so we get excited when we hear each other's audios, because we're just joking around all day, like as we're going about our day, just working. So, and that's pretty much my little snippet of my impression of Trang. Hope you enjoy.
Okay, Maria. Well, I think first I have to do a man voice. It's very deep. So yeah, but when she's always on like events or on TikTok, she's just like, hey, I'm psychic medium Maria Hill. Welcome back. Zoom in, zoom out. If you watch her on TikTok. I think if it's between us, it's pretty casual. Just like, hey dude, so this happened today. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Sorry, this is a really bad impression of her voice. But yeah, that's kind of like dynamic. And then when I'm having a bad day, she just goes into like really great therapy mode. And I can't imitate that because yeah, that's like her own style. I'm sure people that have gotten readings with her, they'd be like, I get it. So yeah. Man voice. Okay. Ooh, how do we compliment one another? Oh, this is a good one because people don't realize, maybe they don't recognize their working dynamics. I think you are like, okay, from a business point of view, you're like the visionary. And I am more of the operations. So that's why I'm behind the scenes. And it's funny because I just wonder, people that don't know us, they're just like, Maria must be an extrovert because she's putting herself on the camera all the time, yada yada, on TikToks and like, explaining and educating to people. In reality, it's like opposite, super introvert, not like super, but just like more introverted. I'm the one that's more like, hi, I'm Trang. So, and I think that it's like you are more big thinking, like big picture, and I'm more of like detail oriented. And people sometimes are like, how does that work and everything? And the thing is, like, you can be different people, but if your core values and the mission that you believe in are the same, it can gel really well. And also from a business point of view, or just like a startup point of view too, we both have different skills. So she's more the creative, thank God she knows how to graphic design, how much money we save off of that. No. So anyways, and then I'm the one that takes in nitty gritty detail. So just like the expenses, or like even like the emails and everything, just making sure nothing's being missed, or even answering like comments in between here and there that we can point to our blog or resources on YouTube. And so what's good is that when you have more ground cover covered. Yeah, just with all the skills. Because if we just had like, if we were both designers, I'd be like, oh, but who's going to do the admin stuff? Who's going to do all that kind of stuff? So, but she just thinks of like random great ideas. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess. And I'm the type to be like, all right, let me put this all together and we'll like put in a timeline, yada, yada, yada. So it's kind of like that. So we bounce ideas off each other, but sometimes Maria comes up with like really great random ideas. And I'm like, good point. Like, that's a good one. So, but yeah, very creative. Like, she's the one the reason why the Happy Healing Shop is like pretty bright, colorful, or, like you look at her website and everything, that was like all her idea. That was like her vision, and I'm the type to be like, all right, let me try to help you get this website set up, And so we are, I guess, like quite opposite in that sense in our skills. And so sometimes I'm like, what was the question? Yeah. How do we complement? Yeah. So I think we cover each other's like strength, like weaknesses as well.
So yeah, that was a pretty good sum up, I would say. It's fascinating because we share some similar skill sets, but we also express them differently too. And then like we have similar values and stuff, so we are really aligned on certain things, and other things we just express our talents differently, or have just straight up different talents. So we both have always loved the idea of having our own business. Like, we were both always natural business people. And like we've tried different things, and Trang used to have, or actually still has, this amazing travel blog, Travel with Trang, if you want to check it out, that she built by herself over the years before we met. And then I've had my own business, like as a designer for a long time, on and off. And so, yeah, we have that, but then we express it differently. Like, so like she said, like, I love the creative aspects. I love coming up with ideas or seeing how we can grow, like strategy. But Trang is like the engine. She really helps us to stay focused, because I love organization and everything, but I have trouble staying organized with my thoughts and things. And honestly, like you may know by now, I have ADHD. And so Trang knows, she's so delicate with how she handles me. And it's just, I feel so loved and understood. And if those of you watching who are neurodiverse may know what it's like to live in a world where people just genuinely underestimate you and don't understand you and get frustrated. But Trang instead like finds ways to bring out the best in me and to always compliment where I'm actually really strong at, and she steps in things that I'm weaker at. And I hope I do the same for her. But I do. But honestly, sometimes I just lie awake in bed and I'm like, how did I get so lucky to have Trang? Is not only an amazing friend, but an amazing business partner and just growth partner, because we have grown so much together. Like, you guys wouldn't even believe if you had met us when we first started, like the place we came from personally, and now where we at today. It's remarkable, truly. And so I'm thankful, beyond thankful, for everything she does. I know that was a little bit of a tangent.
Okay, I'm gonna do a two-part question. First is, what do you get from working here that you don't get anywhere else? Like, what is the most rewarding thing at work? And the second part is, what's the hardest thing about working in our org? So I think for me, the autonomy, obviously when you have your own startup or entrepreneurship, just the autonomy, the flexibility, you can do whatever you want. For me, I'm a night owl. So for people, they do 9 to 5, but my 9 to 5 is actually 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Like yesterday, sounds crazy, but I slept like at 7 a.m. That's when I went to bed, but I'm just naturally a night owl. So, and I think the creative control, just being able to do what you want, come up with ideas, and not be bottlenecked or have any politics or red tape attached to it. And so I think that's the rewarding part. Obviously, the hard part is when you're starting out, there's only like you or maybe even like a business partner or whatever, you're not at that point where you have a lot of money where you can hire a whole entire team, when you know like you need a team to like be able to work all these hours and all that kind of stuff and do like the marketing, the content, and just everything. There's just so much behind the scenes that needs to be done. And so we have so many ideas, but we can't like launch all of them just because we don't have enough labor yet. So I think that's the hard part. And I think for our industry, we do get not a lot, actually, we get a lot of support comments, but there's always some hate comments, some really mean comments, because people just don't believe. And it's fine if they don't believe in what we do. It's kind of like, sometimes some religions you don't believe what they do and stuff, but there's no need to really be vile or disrespect people about it unless they're really harming people. So I think that's what I think most industries, you're gonna have like, I guess, people that dislike you, but man, sometimes they can be haters. But yeah, I think that's the part that's some of like the difficult parts.
Yeah, I'd say Trangs summed it up pretty darn well. For me, as the reader, the most rewarding thing is probably just really building something that transforms people in ways that surprise us all the time. Because when you're if you're not someone who's like full of themselves, like you have like a small expectation or like a reasonable expectation, we're like, oh, we're just doing our thing. And then when we see our clients like absolutely metamorphosize between readings, like completely different people who have grown so much, it's like mind bending. Like we're literally like, whoa, look at how much they've grown. What, like, and
So
it is. Yeah. So when we see that, it really shows us that all this sacrifice we're putting in and all the money we fronted from our own pockets and all the extra time we put in while we were working full-time jobs, like, really was so worth it. And there's times too, like where I don't feel good and stuff because I have some other, health issues. And then, I'll do a reading and I'll feel so good after. I'm like, wow, I feel so much better. And because watching people get clarity and comfort is so healing for everyone involved. And also the other thing is the challenges are really, like Trangs said, a lot of logistics. We grew the business during a pandemic, so we had to adapt and we had to, purchase and learn new platforms, invest a lot of new money, and start to, figure out how to get help. Well, because we're doing a lot of it ourselves. So those are some of the difficult things, and also just like family and friends understanding like what this is. That's another thing. Yeah, but I'd say Trang pretty much summed up everything else. So Trang's gonna have me read this one. What has been our greatest accomplishment to date? Oh wow. I love how I'm like in tarot mode and I'm like starting to like doing a spread like unconsciously with these cards. Well, I would say that being able to build a community this quickly with very minimal marketing, and we've done marketing but like very minimally because we have a budget, right? Being able to start growing the community this quickly has been a huge accomplishment, and one that we had to take a lot of risks in, because ultimately that's the place where we wanted to grow everything from, is a sense of community and comfort, where people can make new friends and they can support each other and they can ask us questions and we can all mentor each other and heal each other and all that, or promote healing in each other. And also just, kind of stepping up something that's very kind of generally antiquated. Like when we started like looking at websites of a lot of other like metaphysical businesses, you're like, ah! And I actually design software for a living, so I was like, oh no. And so us having to like really step outside the box and like really embrace technology as part of an industry that generally seems tech phobic, that was another challenge, but it's working really well now. And it's weird how the pandemic like took away all of the qualms people had about doing virtual readings before, or they're all gone now, really. Before, we couldn't get very many people to accept the online thing. But weirdly, because everyone was forced to, they now realize, oh my God, it works the same. This is great. And so we are basically a completely virtual business, which saves us a lot of overhead and also allows us to be able to do so much more for all of you.
What has been our greatest accomplishment to date? So putting ourselves out there, more so you, because you're really more on camera. But I think even just finishing the courses, like people don't realize, you know, courses look like you just put video on and PDFs and everything, but the planning, the scripts, or the key points, the editing, and putting it all together, and like doing the webinars, marketing, it like. I give appreciation for all those courses that in the past, online courses I've taken, because I was like, oh, you just slap things together. It's like, no, it takes a lot of time actually. So I think the healing through grief and loss, I think that was so fulfilling, because you see how many people transform from, I'm not saying they're like a whole new person, it's just sometimes they can process it so much better, and you see so much healing in that course that it's so rewarding. Like I get teary-eyed a lot of times just like looking at the transformation happen. And it just is a reminder for us to be like, keep doing what we're doing, because you really are impacting people's lives. And some people stay in that grief for so long. And I'm like, every time someone loses someone, I'm like, please take a grief course. It actually, like, it's really great, you know? And then I think developing your psychic abilities course, I made you record like hardcore for 6 to 8 weeks for that. So I think those are really huge accomplishments. I think you coming out on like TikTok, and then just putting yourself out there, which I knew was really, really hard for you. And I'm just so proud of you for like, and look at you now. Now you have like so many people are like, Maria, you know, and I think those are the courses, and just putting yourself out there. I think those are really great accomplishments. We started from like such humble beginnings, like a little psychic night in my bed, in my one bedroom apartment place. So, and now we're just, people around the world know us. You know, we have people from Australia, I think it was Malaysia, this girl once said, Canada, and the US. I think there's Europe. I was looking at it too. I was like, Europe, I think that have tuned in and stuff. So it's just what's cool about online is you reach people literally from all over the world, and you can impact their lives. And to us, that's what makes it fulfilling and like just worth it.
Well, Trang, I think if you were in a Miss America pageant, that would have been pretty good speech there. Obviously, we're pretty aligned on that, because I forgot that we just have been whipping out these courses, and we have a big load on us coming up, so yeah. I'm sure we'll have more accomplishments that we can celebrate. I'm sorry, Trey, I know what yours is, but what do you think my pet peeve at work is? Oh my God, guys, I'm gonna say this as tactfully as possible, but I think Trang's pet peeve at work is, honestly, how do I say this in a nice way? Let's just say one of Trang's biggest pet peeves that I hear the most is that she gets really frustrated when she is putting 110% and people around her are putting in like 20%. And that it's not just like a couple people, but a lot of people. And she ends up having to do all the heavy lifting. And everyone just starts leaning on her because she's so reliable and so efficient and so smart and responsible. And then they just end up doing less and less work and then piling more and more on her. That's something, and I've heard her over the years really express this, rightfully so. So there's a lot of ways you could say that in a simple phrase that I won't say. But let's just say people who do not put in the appropriate amount of effort for the team as a whole. So also people who don't read directions. Yeah. Literally, yeah, like when she's going out of her way to like really state out all the details about something so no one misunderstands anything, and it's all there, and she took all this effort to like lay it out really clearly, and no one reads anything, and sends an email saying, hey, where can I find out more about this? And it's like, it was literally right the first line, like right there. So I completely get it too, because as a designer, when I'm writing out specs to go off to the developers, and then they just ignore everything, and then they end up messing it up, and I'm like, I literally wrote out an entire guide for you, and you didn't read any of it. So I get it.
For Maria, I'm just gonna say, you've dealt with so many mean, narcissistic people, bullies. I think that's I think pet peeve is also seeing mistreatment of people and also unfairness, I think. You know, like you have a good employee that's like working, and then you have this person that might be sucking up to someone, and then somehow they get the promotion. We understand. I mean, I get it. It happens a lot, but it's just when you see that, or even like bullying. We've both been bullied in the workplace. So I think that, and she, obviously, she's super intuitive, and she can just see, even, you know, when you meet someone, you're just like, they seem nice. Like, you know I haven't gotten to know them, but they seem like a decent person. And, you know, everyone seems to get along with them fine. And she can just be like, no, something's wrong. Something's off. And obviously they haven't done anything yet, so no one really believes her. So I think, and then later on they're fake or something like that. She just knew it, you know, and I think that's hard because no one will believe you because there's no evidence to go off of it, you know. But, you know, because I work with her now, I've been working with her for a while. I'm just like, all right, I believe you. And then later on, it just ends up being true. So I think that's, yeah. So you were so right on like you have so many times in my life, it's in the email. Oh,
the email.
It's in the email. I highlighted it too, in case you didn't see it. Oh, when you were explaining those, I was like, my blood pressure.
Guess I was right on, eh?
How do we handle conflict differently, and how does that benefit us? Ooh, this is a good one. I think the way I approach things is definitely more, I don't want to say heartless, but more logistical, solution-based things. So, for example,
she's a Capricorn.
So if someone goes up to me, like let's say we have an employee and they're just like, look, my dad passed away, my grandpa passed away, whatever, like I'm struggling at work, I need, you know, I'm not sure what to, you know, I'm really, you know, I just don't know what to do. And I'm the type to say, okay, that's fine, take off whatever time you need and just make sure someone covers you and make sure that you communicate with the team, you know, and like don't feel guilty about it, do what you need to do, you know. And so it's very like that, and more, I guess, practical or whatever, or no, just like really not say to the point, but you know, whereas Maria, she's like the warmth that comes in and is like fair. I feel like you would probably be like, you know, like, hey, hon, you know, it's okay. Like, I'm so sorry for, you know, how you're feeling, like, you know, and all that. Like, it's just like a warm hug, you know. Or maybe it's kind of like what my friend Christina said. She gave me this, so like, she's like, it's like a bra. And Maria's like the nice, soft padding, you know. And Trang, you're like the uncomfortable wire, but it gives structure. And I was like, you know, that's a really good analogy. Thanks.
So don't let Trang fool you. She's actually pretty soft and squishy, but it's more if she trusts you. So she's gonna be, the thing is that, you know, we give that balance. Like, I'm a Libra, she's a Capricorn. We bring this kind of different energy into things. And so like Trang deeply cares about people, but she's more like action oriented. Like, you need support, I'm just gonna give it to you, you know? And then I might be more like, well, what's the root of the problem? Like, what emotional ways can we support you? Is there anything we can do to make this process easier for you? And so when we talk about these things together, we're able to fill in a good mix of foundation and structure, and then also nurturing and like she said, a softer energy. And it's funny because I can be very, about certain things that I'm really particular about, I can be very straightforward, where sometimes I'm like, no, Trang, I don't think we should say it like that. No, Trang, I don't think we should do it like that. Like, no. Like, but it's rare that I'm, but I will be more like her if there's something that I feel is like, it like suddenly like hits me in a weird way, and I'm like, and I see the trajectory of it, and I'm like, no, that's not going to work out well. Not do that. And I will like be extraordinarily stubborn about it. But then she'll like hear me out, and then we're like, oh yeah, okay, well, let's do it this way. And there was a time like several months ago where we were both in like a very bad place with like our mental states, and we both kind of needed just to take a break from, this was like right before COVID happened, actually. Yeah. And so maybe we were just sensing the energy of the world about to tank, you know, but like we were both happening to be going through like a burnout phase just with our own personal lives and work, you know, and both having weird stuff at work. And so we both just kind of needed a break. And I remember at one point we realized that we were both not optimally like functioning, and we sat down and had this extremely earnest and open conversation. And one of the things that impressed me so much about Trang is like I told her emotionally like what I needed, and she was like, okay, so let's cut this out, let's add this, let's do this differently. And she made it so easy. She didn't like trigger her own emotions with it. She felt the emotions, but she was like, that's not helpful, we're gonna do this, and she freaking solved the problem, and we did it together. But she added such a deep sense of like, I'm hearing you, let's fix it. And I was like, wow, if only everyone had a boss or a coworker or a co-founder that could hear something and see someone's needing help and respond. And then I did the same thing for her, but in a more squishy way, when she was like, burnt out. And I was like, take off as much time as you need, whatever. And then suddenly we were able to really restructure things. And so even sometimes because she's really so efficient sometimes, and I'm like, whew, that's going to burn me out, Trang. Let's take a couple days off. And then she's like, okay, no problem. We'll fix it. We'll rearrange it. And she ends up making it work, and it's amazing. So yeah, always know that like, as long as two people are willing to hear each other truly on a deep level and are both problem solving mindset and also compassion for one another, you would be amazed what kind of creative solutions you can come up with to solve a problem. So thanks, Trang. I just love this girl.
Okay, it's a two-part question to wrap this up. What surprised you most from this conversation? And then this one is kind of like, what excites you about our future / what would you feel, what would have to happen so you feel like we are incredibly successful?
So I feel like as far as defining success for us is building a really robust community with a lot of people in a lot of different, coming from a lot of different places in their metaphysical practice and evolution, and that people feel safe and like tell other people about it, so they join and they have these little pods of people coming together and organizing. And that like truly, I think if we were able to continue our teaching big, that would be a big point of success, like having all these classes and options. People almost have like, you know, can learn so much from one place, and have a hub, you know, that would be great. But honestly, I'm already feeling, even though I know we're still very small, I already feel so much success just because of you all, and also because of this great partnership we have. What excites me most about the future is the idea of expanding our offering in such a big way. And I love how we both we don't get complacent. We want to push and we push and we push. We love to put ourselves in uncomfortable positions. And I see us. We love to innovate. We love to be creative. And coming from tech and her coming from the entertainment industry, like we really see so much potential to make the metaphysical world so much more exciting and modern than it is right now, and to use technology to really boost that and make it accessible to people all over the world. That's, I'd say, something I'm most excited about.
I think for our future, you know, most people would say, oh, I need X amount of money, or like, I'd like to reach this, XYZ, to feel incredibly successful. But I think like, honestly, like getting comments and stuff like that, where we, you know, things that we create have impacted people, change their lives, that feels like such a huge win for us. So when people are like, oh, I'm just gonna comment, is that really gonna make a difference? Or should I even like or subscribe to a video? AKA hint, you guys should do that to this video right now. So please give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. We're like every YouTuber, it's just like, we release videos every Wednesdays. We actually don't. But yeah, I think it really, it means so much to us. Because, you know, we put things out there, but we actually can't tell the impact that if we're making any, until people actually write these lovely comments, and you're just like, oh, I can't believe they actually benefit from this, you know? So I think that's, those are just like little successful wins for us. And I think just reaching out to people all over the world, that's what's amazing. I think that's, well, you know, in other countries and whatnot, they'd be like, thank you for helping me heal on this journey and trying to discover my path. I was going crazy, etc. So yeah. And then what excites me about our future is, ooh, I don't know, so many things, like just growing big. And, you know, I think having you know, having our employees, like just having like I would say brick and mortar, but like employees and staffing people and being like, these are 100+ lives that we're taking care of. We're treating them well. We're giving them awesome benefits, you know, and they feel secure coming to work and they feel happy. It's like all the stuff that we want, and I'm sure you probably want at work too. So being able to give them like just an opportunity to provide for themselves and their family and like just a caring and a healthy workplace. So I know that sounds like a really dry answer, but yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments below if there's any other questions you want us to answer, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.